Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Open Office Hours. I'm Crystal Hinkle. I'm part of the team here at Syncro. I will let the ladies introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, it's Tatiana. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Brandy. It's nice to see everyone today.
It is. Happy Friday. I'll make my normal announcement. So everyone that's joined us before, thank you so much for attending again, coming back. We really enjoy doing these. For those of you that have never joined us during Open Office Hours, welcome. Thanks for coming and asking questions. So that's really what this forum is all about. It really doesn't matter where you're at in your journey with Syncro. We're happy to answer your questions. They can be very simple and basic. They can be super deep dive and focused. So this is a really great place to even, I like to just mention, if you've been with us for a while or you're just trialing now and 3 months down the road, you realize, hey, I need a refresher. Hop back in. We're happy to help. This is a great resource and we really love doing them. So it gives us a good way to communicate and keep in touch with the community. So it's really great. We've been kind of doing some deep dives at the beginning of Open Office Hours. I thought today, it's funny, I was going to show something and then I realized that I might be stealing some thunder from a different announcement. So I think I'm going to hold it off and maybe we can do a deep dive on it next week. But it's actually one of the community track features that I think everyone is really, really going to like. So keep an eye out for that because I'm fairly certain that's going to be announced here pretty soon, probably announced in the Facebook group, which reminds me, if you're not part of the Facebook group, I would highly recommend hopping in there. The community is phenomenal, great resource, just a wealth of knowledge. There's a lot of questions that are very MSP specific or technically specific, like scripting, that kind of thing that, you know, I wish I was able to give you a walkthrough of how to create a script to do this, that, and the other, but that's not my day to day. So going to the community and asking an MSP it's a really great resource. And so lastly, any question that you have, just pop it into the Q&A. That's how we kind of are able to organize the questions as they come in. And if you see me, you know, looking off to the side, I'm not dozing off. I'm just looking and scanning the queue. And so we can just kind of dive in and get started. And it sounds like Brandy's going to take this first one, so go for it.
Yeah, so Jarell's just asking, when emailing paid invoices, is there a way to turn off the receipt attachment globally? So there's not a global setting, and I was just playing around. I'll just share my screen real quickly in the invoice settings. I don't see a global setting for that, but I did want to just let you know that you can turn off, like I could turn this off. If someone was making a payment from the portal, you could select that button to automatically email a paid invoice PDF, or you could unselect that. And then there's one other thing that I wanted to mention too. If you go into your PDF and email templates, and I go into email templates, this is going to be a paid invoice email. You can absolutely come in here and you can edit this. So if you would like it to look different, we of course want to give you PDF and email templates to get started, because we don't want you to spend a ton of time just setting all of this up. We want you to be able to use it right out of the box. But you can absolutely come in here and you can customize it as much as you would like to. You can use different template tags as well. So that's just one other way that you can really tailor it to your business. If maybe you wanted to turn it off because you didn't like what it said, this would be a nice way to customize that. Hopefully that helps.
Super helpful. Thank you, Brandy. Question here from Brianna. She says, hi, happy Friday. Will you be posting last week's Open Office Hours on the YouTube channel? And yes, we will. I will share my screen. I'll show you guys. If you haven't joined us previously, you've probably seen our YouTube channel. Let me make sure I'm sharing this, the right screen here. But yes, we do usually post the recording. So as Crystal mentioned, sometimes, or we have in the past done kind of deep dives. If you have missed any of those previous ones, you can review them on our YouTube channel. Last week's hasn't just been posted yet, but I did remind the team so that they can take care of that when they have the chance to do that. So, yep.
Awesome. Yes. And I think we do have a member of our team that's out for this week. And I think that's why there's a little bit of a delay. I was just going to grab this one from Brian. Hello, I'm on time today. Good job. Thanks for joining us. This might be a feature request. Just as everyone does nowadays, we use very wide screens, and it would be nice if the columns took advantage of the full width. Yes, we hear this often. As far as I know, that is in feature request land at the moment. But yeah, not only to like fill up the entire screen, but to be able to add additional columns or even additional tabs, because you can customize those tabs at the top. So the one thing that I hear often is just the ability to add more tabs up here. And so, I mean, while I'm here and I don't see the queue filling up rapidly, I just wanted to make sure that everybody does know that if you do head to your admin section, you can customize those tabs up there. So, I mean, we do limit the amount that's there, and anything that overflows, you'll find in this more section that drops down. So you can go into tabs customization and just make sure and move things around and that kind of thing. So you do have that available for you to customize if you haven't seen that already, but I will pass that feature request along. Yep, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Crystal. Rafi's asking, is there a way to send a closed ticket notification? So I have a couple things for you, and let me just share this. And ladies, if you have anything else, feel free to chime in. So you mentioned the ticket automation. What you could do is you can come in and you can set your different conditions, and I could say, okay, the ticket status is resolved. And then from here, I'm going to email the customer or contact, and you can absolutely use template tags this way. However, I also really like to use the mailer. And this is a nice way to do so. I've even seen people tie in whatever survey platform they're using for this. So you could create a campaign and say, okay, one day after every ticket is closed, I want to send this particular email. Hey, thanks. It looks like your ticket's been closed. Please feel free to, if you liked your service that you received, to go to this website and fill out a review or something like that. So there's lots of different options that you have, but ticket automations, you can also use the mailer. Remember, if you're not on a trial, there is no limitation to how many emails you can send. So while I'm here, not only can you send notifications based on when a ticket's closed, you can do a drip campaign, just like those lovely emails you get from Syncro when you have a trial. It's like, hey, one day after new customers created, or 14 days after new customers created. But you can also use saved customer searches, so maybe to shoot a message to all of your leads, or even for upselling opportunities. We know you can have saved asset searches to see, hey, all these customers don't have antivirus. Let's send them an email and offer them that opportunity. Or even they're on my gold MSP package. Let's offer them a special for, it's hard to believe Black Friday is coming. November is almost here, but maybe you want to have a campaign for that and offer them your platinum package. So just since we had a little extra time, I wanted to share that, and you can absolutely use the mailer in a lot of different ways too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's definitely the most automated way to do it. The one other thing that I was just going to show, and again, this isn't like in automated land, but I do really like this because we added this just recently. This was something that was requested. Let me go to tickets here really quick and just show you. And again, I realize this is not automated. I just like showing this because this was a request. We built one feature and then it was just an add-on request. But like if you're about to resolve this ticket and you want to write like a custom message here that like is specific to this ticket in particular, I do like the ability when you drop down here, you could be like submit and resolve. And it resolves the ticket, sends the email, and you're good to go. So just that's the third way that I was thinking. And again, not automated, but I like it.
I love that too.
Sweet. Okay, go for it, Tatiana.
Awesome. Next one here is from Justin. He says, when using add any pending ticket charges for these ticket statuses, is there any way to sort and group the charges from that get added to the recurring invoice? Personally, I'm looking for the charges to be in chronological order, grouped by ticket, so that all charges for each ticket and topic are grouped together. So for example, charge from this date, kind of just group them all together in that way. I'm sure you guys can see his Q&A question there. So a couple things, I do believe this is going to be a feature request. So I went ahead and I just manually created an invoice, and right now it is listed right in here, kind of they are kind of grouped together as far as I can see, and in the order that is kind of in chronological ticket order here. I think what he's referring to is when you have the ability, when you're building a recurring invoice and you are selecting add any pending ticket charges for the ticket statuses. At this time, you can only add them by the ticket status. So I'll definitely go ahead and pass that along for you.
Awesome. And I love this. I'm going to grab this from Justin really quick. This is why I like when people that have been using Syncro for a while join, because we forget to tell people things. So for the very widescreen question, make sure the questioner knows about the existence of the full screen feature. So that's awesome. Thanks for bringing that up, Justin, because I don't think I have shown this or talked about this. But if you head here, you can enable full screen. So if you didn't know that that existed, maybe give that a try, because it probably will help with that extra large screen. So thanks again, Justin, I appreciate that. And then another free feature request from Brian, add customer name as a field for saved asset searches. Yeah, and we previously suggested maybe a workaround for that, going with policies. And the other thing that I did, test out the other day, actually, when I was on a call with a user was, you can create a saved asset search. And then once you're in the saved asset search, you can filter by customer. That does work. I did double check that. But yes, we would like to add customer, as he's asking for a customer drop down here, which makes a ton of sense, and we'd like to do that. Cool.
Awesome. Next question here at the top is from Dennis. He says, we are a new user. I set up a policy for workstations and a policy for servers. I've created a notification setting for the workstations and one for servers. How do I link the server policy to server notifications and the same for workstations? As far as I know, it should be just doing that automatically. So what he's saying is, in the policies, he set up one policy for workstation, one for servers, and in each of those, he adjusted the settings of what he's looking to monitor on these policies in here. So as far as I'm aware, yep, as long as you have the alerts selected for the specific policy, those are going to be filtering into this section here, just right under your alerts. I don't think there's a way to set up separate notifications of under which policy it was in here. So I do see our mem alert was created or was auto resolved, but I don't see it based, like you can't filter these on a policy per policy basis at this time.
Yeah, just adding in automated remediations, you could do it based on server or workstation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. Yep. Yeah. So like Brandy was showing previously, if you are, however you get to the automated remediation, if you're on alerts, that's the easiest way. But yes, if you set it up to where you can kind of filter the conditions in here to give you what settings are going to fall under that policy, basically.
Awesome. Thanks, Tatiana. Daryl says, I've seen the Getting Started guide on the Syncro website. Is there a detailed Getting Started guide which outlines how to set up and configure everything in order? So Justin, I'm sorry, I just briefly saw what you were saying and exited it out. It's not going to be me. So what he's referring to is, if you do go into your training tab, and if you don't have one, if you just pop into the admin section and you go to your tabs customization, you can add a training tab. But in the knowledge base, there is a Getting Started guide. And if you just click into Getting Started with Syncro, this is the best step-by-step Getting Started guide that shows you how to get everything configured. I personally like the order that it goes in, because you're first starting with setting up your business, your logo, system tray icon, things like that. And then you're moving into, okay, let's get our customers sorted out, because without customers, the tickets aren't going to make sense. So I would highly suggest going in this order, and I did drop the KB in the admin section for you. And there's a lot of videos based on these different modules too. So highly suggest taking a look at the videos. They're really nice.
So yeah, Justin wants someone to tell him what I was hinting at earlier about the feature that I was going to show. And I just looked in our channel And I'll just keep looking because I'm fairly certain it's probably going to get released while we're on this call. And if it does, I'll show you at the end. It's pretty cool. It does have to do, actually, I think, Justin, I think you were the one that asked, and it had something to do, it does have something to do with pending ticket charges. So that's kind of like that's a little teaser, and I'll just keep my eye on the channel. And once it's released, then I can show it. Cause I think it's
usually like 9:45 for us, or like 10 or 15 minutes before we're done.
I know. And I think that it's, again, I think this is really important. Like all of those things, like add a customer to a saved asset search and, add more columns or add more tabs. Those, I'm not a developer, but like, I feel like those are quality of life type of improvements that Facebook, that community track is attempting to tackle. So I really recommend, because we're obviously watching, we've released, I think, like 3 or 4 things from that community track already. So it's great for you to post them here, but I definitely would recommend posting them in the group as well.
Awesome. Dennis says, I don't think I was clear. We have a system that can email to an alert app that we use. I don't want these emails to text for workstations, but I do want these for servers, especially when a server goes offline. So that actually, there's going to be a couple different things here. So what I would do is in your policies, if you have one policy for servers, one policy for workstations, you can just have the offline notification for one for servers, but not for workstations. And then like Tatiana was showing, and if I'm missing something, let me know, but like she was showing for the automated remediations, again, is you can sort this. You don't have to do it based on a policy if you don't want to. Maybe you have a couple of servers and workstations in the same policy, but you could say, okay, if it is a server and the trigger category is agent offline, then you could have it fire that notification if that helps. That's what I would do. But if you're referring to the notification center though, how you have it set up in the notification center, that's global for all RMM alerts.
Yeah, I think I just didn't show it far enough to show that in the conditions you can set the asset policy as your only workstations or your only servers. So it is in there in the automated remediation conditions. So thank you for clarifying.
Okay, Christopher, I'm going to grab this one. So you'll understand my hesitation here in just a sec, but can system uptime be added to the page for a particular asset? We have a PowerShell script to gather the information, but it would be helpful to see that without extra steps. Okay, so again, you'll understand my hesitation here by showing you this because of mostly just my lack of scripting knowledge, but I will show you this. So if you go to any asset, really, you can create a custom field in an asset. So if I go to any asset here, you'll see like the minute you drill into this asset, you've got custom fields here. You could create a custom field that is uptime here in the asset. Then if you have that PowerShell script running on a schedule, what you could do, if you just go to scripts, and I talk so nonchalantly, like you could just do this, but as far as I know, it's actually it's really, really cool and straightforward and easy to do if you're versed in scripting. But we have the PowerShell module, so as long as you put this in the first line of your script here, you can then have it set asset field. Like, so this is the one, right? Yeah, so you can actually have the script run and then have the output put into a custom field. That's my understanding of it. Again, that's as far as my understanding goes. So this would be a great question if anyone can back me up on this one in the group that's watching. But I know it's absolutely possible. I just don't know the exact step-by-steps. But if you create the custom field, you already have the PowerShell script running, you just add in this PowerShell portion of it. You should be good to go on that. the other one I was going to grab here from Brian, he says, thank you for the ticket type for recurring invoices. I had a few ticket charges invoiced before the tickets were resolved. I totally overlooked this. Yes, this was huge. This was like such a huge request. I think it came from one of Brandy's customers, I think. I'm fairly certain. But what Brian's referring to is if you go into invoices here and you go into reoccurring invoices, we've always had the ability to add pending ticket charges to a reoccurring invoice, meaning anything that you've charged time for during that period of time, you can have it add any pending ticket charges. But what we've done is now given you the ability to, hey, I only want to add pending ticket charges if the ticket's resolved, for example. So if you didn't know that was there, Brian said he's making changes right now. If you didn't know that that's there, this was a lovely add to reoccurring invoices.
Yes, and I'm going to give my weekly spiel on that because we have had a lot of requests for that same exact thing, and people would just email one of us or mention it on a demo or something, and then I got this long thought out email from the person who this was requested by and put into place within a week of how much time this would save his business and how easy it would be and what that would look like to their business, and literally within a week it was in our system. So it really goes to show just taking that extra step of letting us know why you want this feature rather than just, hey, this would be nice. That would be really helpful. Okay, I'm a broken record. Andy says, can you advise on the use of deleting or muting alerts? So yes, let me share my screen real quickly. And this, if you just go into your alerts tab, you guys might want to chime in. Again, we're not MSPs, so if you guys use this differently, let us know. But if you notice that there's an alert that you're getting over and over and over, if you just want to go out to the right, you can mute or you can clear alerts for any given amount of time, and you could do it for just one device or all devices. I have even had people tell me that maybe one particular device or one particular customer was they still want to have the Syncro agent on their devices, but they were like taking a break or something from their MSP services, and rather than just shutting everything down, they wanted to just come in here and they wanted to mute their alerts for a month. Then they had that option. But maybe you're getting something that you don't even need to remediate and it's not that big of a deal. You just come in and you can mute and clear these just so that they're not taking up your entire alert system. But that's completely up to you guys. These are all fake alerts in here on how you want to use that. And then let's see here. I saw another one in here. Oh, Jamie, great question. So he says, is there a way to request an app integration to be examined? For example, we recently started using Harvest to do hourly tracking for employees. Would be awesome to see that can be tied into Syncro. So yes, actually, if you will email help@syncromsp.com, that's how the best way that those are going to get reviewed, and just let them know how you use it, what exactly it is, maybe even a link to the website. That would be really beneficial. We don't want it to take you a ton of time, but just a quick little synopsis of what the app is and how you use it, how it would help your business. We're always looking at adding new applications and different integrations. You can use, we have an open API, a REST API, and we can pop that in. I've seen people build connections that I never even thought were possible. Some of you in this group might even use Harvest and might have used Zapier or used the API to connect those. So those are two ways you can do it. Not native in Syncro currently, but absolutely request it.
Super helpful. Thank you, Brandy. Yeah, and to that too, if there's a specific functionality that you like within Harvest for time tracking, and you would like to just see that built right into Syncro, since there's 4 other different ways to track time already, if there's something that's going to make things that much more efficient for you, or if there's some type of specific preference, you can pass that along just as a general request to our devs, and we can just build it right in for you if enough people are going to kind of see the productivity built out from that. Question here from Brian. He says, a Syncro Live Service Manager lists the service names, but it would be nice if a column would display the short name for the services. This short name is what is required when configuring monitors for services. So I'll show you guys what he's talking about, and I will pass along your request for you for sure. So if you launch into a Syncro Live session anywhere using the magnifying glass, or if you're on the endpoint, you go over to your service manager. As you guys know, we've been shipping a ton of updates to Syncro Live. We just very recently added the registry editor. So if this is something that's going to make things a lot easier for you guys in order to, instead of searching, to just kind of see the short name listed in a column here, I can definitely pass that along for you.
Awesome. I was just going to bring up, and if I missed you guys saying this already, I have heard requests for Harvest before. Absolutely. I didn't know though if did we show that you can actually track time, like hours in Syncro as well? Like we have a time clock built right into Syncro, and it's not. Did you guys say that? I don't know.
I said there's 4 different ways to track time, but I didn't show them. But I think that's what I was kind of alluding to, is if there's something specific that we don't have that Crystal's going to show you, then.
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, there's like a gazillion ways to track time on a ticket, but to actually track time for your employees, we do have a time clock. We have the way for them to clock in and clock out and things like that, and it can generate a report. So yeah, if there is additional things that you're doing with Harvest, because I don't think that this necessarily syncs to, this doesn't sync to QuickBooks and like create payroll or anything like that. So if that's the type of functionality you're using in Harvest, like we wouldn't be able to match that. But this does I think this gets often missed, that you actually can do a clock in, clock out for your employees here.
And you can run the report on that too, yeah.
Yeah, because I guess we've got time. I'll go ahead and go to reports. And I believe it's under, let's see.
Employees, I think. Yeah, last one.
Yep. So yeah, I don't know if it's worth, because let's just do like all time, because I don't know if anyone actually does this.
I know. Brian's asking if it's for each license.
Yeah. Yep, it is. Yeah. So again, if you're using Harvest for, like, if you have someone part-time or an office worker or something like that, that you're not having as a user in Syncro, it wouldn't be sufficient. Cool. Okay. This is like that mid-open office hours slow down in questions. So everyone that's waiting on your questions or hesitating, please go ahead and drop those into the Q&A. We're happy to help.
Thank you. I was out last week. It was a nice little Friday off, but I missed open office hours a lot.
I know.
If I didn't have a little one, I would have been here, but it's a little hard to contain 20-month-old by yourself. So
you just have her next to you, and she'd visit with everybody.
I wouldn't have a headset on, that's for sure.
Yeah, I did. I went out and I went fishing, and my little guy caught like the biggest bass that he's caught so far. I mean, I'm not, this isn't even in fishing. This is not fishing measurement. It was actually like this big. It was a largemouth bass, and it was fun.
Fishing measurement. My husband went spear fishing. He decided randomly in the middle of the ocean without telling me, and then saw a shark. So that's how our weekend went. I found out that like 8 hours after the fishing trip ended. So.
Oh, Justin, I'm just going to read it out loud. I'm just reading it out loud. Okay. I'd like to set up a ticket automation that can help me chase down clients that aren't responding on my behalf. For instance, if a ticket is set to awaiting on customer status, to automatically email them a gentle reminder. I generally think I can figure out the trigger condition status is not updated in hours. What I don't know how to do is set up the proper actions. What I want to do is email from the automation in the same way as public email comment on a ticket would be. More specifically, I want to make sure if someone replies, their comment goes back on the ticket and I want to make sure my automated message to them appears on the ticket history. Also, I want to make sure I don't trip on a gotcha where I accidentally email the client every 30 to 60 minutes until they fire us for annoyance. So what's the best way to do this? Yeah, exactly. Okay. So as far as I know, you're on the right track. And if there is an open ticket, it logs it in that open ticket. And then there's also like a setting. Let's just do this. We've got time. I'm going to go into ticket automations here real quick. So as far as I know, there's only going to be a couple gotchas. And there are some gotchas here. So let's go to ticket automations. I'm going to create a new ticket. So basically what Justin is kind of saying is that it's like if the ticket status is waiting on customer and the ticket hasn't been updated, not updated in like 1 hour, right? Or something like that. Then I want to email the customer. So this is kind of like what the action is happening now. What's going to happen is that ticket automations run every hour. So what that means is if this is waiting on a customer and it hasn't been updated in any way in an hour, it will run every hour. So, right? I'm not missing anything there. So if you don't want to spam your customers, I normally would think if it's waiting on a customer and it's like 8 hours, this would be like, it would then email them every 8 hours until that status changes. So again, if the status changes and it's not updated and you have a very short, not updated hour, it'll just on the hour send out that, that email. Now their replies, like I said, what I don't know and I cannot confirm right at the moment is if they respond, that will flow right into the ticket. I don't know if these automated emails show in the ticket. That's what I don't know. I would have to test that, but I know their response would show in the ticket.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I know the automated email should show under the customer communication, but I don't know about the ticket.
For some reason, I'm feeling like I don't think it posts in the ticket, but that's something that we can test, or you might be able to confirm if you've set this up already. You can maybe check, but yeah, I think that's the main gotcha. If you have it not updated out in a short amount of time, and you don't want them to get that email every hour, then bump up updated in hours. What am I missing? Did I miss?
I'm dying. Shane said my high school English teacher would say waiting on customer is improper grammar when really you mean waiting for customer. Mrs. Dover would want me to point that out. You did your due diligence for the day. You just let her know.
Then Justin says he's not tested it because it's way too scary. Yeah, I'm wondering if I have to set a public comment as well as the email customer contact so that the same page appears in both places. That is absolutely an option. The main thing to note here is if you have it set to automatically email customers any public comment, then they're going to really get spammed. So if you want to,
just set me up as a fake customer, Justin. Honestly, set my email address and have a ticket, and I just won't reply. I don't mind, and then you're not messing with another customer. I don't mind if you use my email to test it.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. What I was gonna see is if I look at just these ticket automations that are running so these are all running. Ticket status is open. I was wondering if I could track down like a ticket that had run so I could look, but I don't know how to do that.
I know, unfortunately, we just don't have our emails all tied into these tickets, or we would, since we all share this account, we would be getting messages nonstop.
Yeah, I was just gonna, because okay, so you can see like when you can see the customer and ticket. I just none of these are just kind of like set up on fake customers, so they're not actually running. Because I was gonna see if I could, if you can see it here, which would be helpful. But again, Justin, I think you could do the public comment thing just as long as in your ticket preferences, if you have it set to, is it here? Am I on the right, or am I on my invoice preferences?
Yeah.
One more thing. Yeah, let's just look at this really quick, because if you have this setting where ticket comments do not email by default, like if you could probably select that and then do it that way if it doesn't automatically post into the ticket. Okay, well, my response was as long as the question, so hopefully you enjoyed that one. All right, who's up?
I can do the next one here. The question is there a way to template all outgoing SMS messages so that I can just type message content, but the customer receives company name, semicolon message content. Basically, I want every SMS to begin with the company name, but I don't want to have to type it every time or have the additional step of choosing a canned response every time. So I'll share my screen and I'll show the settings that I'm aware of that can point you in the right direction. So if we go to the admin section, I opened up the ticket settings and then also the additional settings as well. And then in here you have the subject for ticket comment emails. I'm not 100% sure if this applies to the SMS messages as well, but you could pull in different tags here in order to add that. So I don't know if it would be called company name or customer name. You'd have to take a look at the template tags that are available there and just kind of test that using the SMS there. The other thing too is we do have SMS templates, but I don't think there's a way, as far as I know, to edit the subject in here. So I would test the first one here that I mentioned. Hopefully that helps.
I don't think you can edit subjects. I'm going with my gut, but maybe.
And I also don't know, like, because if you set up that Twilio integration, there are some advanced features and settings. So there might very well be a way to do it from Twilio, but not, I don't think it's going to be organically.
Yeah, if anyone uses Twilio, feel free to chime in on that too, on additional functionality. I want to play with it.
Mm-hmm. Clarification question. Brian wants to know, ticket automations run once an hour. Does that mean the system views these automations once an hour? Not sure if I asked that correctly. Yeah, so it's going to check once an hour for all triggers. Now, I will say there are some kind of like caveats to that. So I believe it's when a new ticket is generated in general, and it has the new status, I believe, as far as I know, those automations run within 15 minutes. Everything else runs on an hour. We're working on making those real time. So that is something that we're working on, so you don't have to think about the every hour thing. So yeah, hopefully that helps.
Question here from Justin. He says, do you guys know if there's any functional difference on the Syncro side between using Twilio and FlowRoute for SMS? So as far as I know, the main difference is with Twilio, you can bring your own phone number. So you can have like your office phone number be the number that you're texting from. And with our built-in SMS, you don't have to set anything up. It quote unquote just kind of works. You have built-in 200 credits that you can use per month. They don't roll over. There's most likely a cost difference as well. Those are kind of the main ones that I know about.
Yeah, and I think the only thing in addition to that is like we just mentioned with Twilio, the advanced integration, the advanced settings where there's like confirmation texts, for example, that you could set up almost like appointment reminders, but they're texts, and you can get pretty in depth there. Just like if you had a dentist appointment and you get that text before to like confirm or not, stuff like that exists in that advanced integration as far as I know. There's also like a kind of a asterisk in the KB article letting you know that those types of things we don't really troubleshoot since it's so far out of the app. Like if you start setting up any sort of like campaigns via Twilio, we don't really support the technical support side of that, just to let you know. All right. Chris wants to know, we have just signed up. Will we get assistance with onboarding? Is there ability to import contacts and tickets from Connectwise? So I'm going to answer the second part of this question first, because I am happy to show you that we do have a Connectwise importer, and it's great. So if you go to your admin section, and I guess I was already there and I don't need to go to the admin center, it's in your app center. And I believe if you scroll down to the bottom, and then also for any of you that are in trial with Syncro or paid and you didn't know that these importers were here, we have quite a few really great import tools. So here's your Connectwise importer. There's a few things to note here. So this is what would be brought over. The main thing here is that you do have to have a client ID, and you have to request that from Connectwise. And so that is an additional step that they've added to their importer tool. So just to make note that you do have to request that. And I don't know, since you've come on board with Syncro, if you're still paying for Connectwise as well. I don't think the details necessarily matter that much. But yes, you do have to get that client ID, and then we can bring all of these things over. The first part of your question, we do not have onboarding. So, I mean, we get this question often from specifically Connectwise users that usually pay quite a bit of money to onboard and set their system up. We do not have onboarding. We don't have paid onboarding. What we do have is, so we have obviously this training center. We do have that step-by-step guide where, you know, it kind of walks you through anything that you need to set up. I hope that while you were on your trial, you had a full product tour, because we do offer those. These open office hours, actually, I most of the time we have, there's more payers in here than people that are just testing it. And so that's where we get these very advanced questions. We're happy to answer any questions with a screen share. So if there's things that we can help you with. And then of course we have a phenomenal technical support team. So if you do run into any issues and you need questions answered, you can definitely reach out to help@syncromsp.com. So hopefully that answers that question. The other thing is I definitely go to the Facebook group, because our users are really helpful. So hopefully that helps.
Tony made a good point. He said the thing about Syncro is that it doesn't require an onboarding. It's intuitive to use. And I think it's really common to ask about onboarding firsthand when you do come from a platform that it takes a lot longer to learn how to use, or maybe you've been using it for 8 years and you're not using all of the functionality. Take it from a lot of these people in this group. They've learned really, really quickly. And can you use it out of the box? Absolutely. We've got those great importer tools Crystal was talking about, but a lot of resources. These open office hours are great. We've, just toot our own horn here, but open office hours are really, I think a lot of people do learn a lot, and having the YouTube channel and things like that. So we don't want you to have to use onboarding.
I love that. Tony, it's like, that was just like a perfect answer. I should have just said that and moved on.
Tony's been with us for a while.
I know. Yeah, you're right, Justin. So as far as the basic functionality of Twilio and FlowRoute, you can use your own number. If you do I think there's additional settings you can do with FlowRoute to use your own number. So the main difference is that advanced functionality with Twilio with like the automations that you can set up. I don't think there's a lot of automations you can do with FlowRoute. And then Justin also says Connectwise Manage, so I'm not sure which part of Connectwise, but Connectwise Manage will also give you a dump of your SQL database for you to say for $150 one-time charge. So that's also helpful if you need to grab that information. Let's see.
So can we integrate Syncro with distributors like Synnex, Ingram, etc. to order, check inventory, and make payments? So you can have your vendors listed in Syncro, but I want to be clear because a lot of people ask me when they're talking about their vendors, it doesn't pull real-time stock data and pricing directly from those vendors. So a lot of people will ask me that because they want to know what the real-time price is from those vendors. That part isn't going to integrate into Syncro. We have no way of doing that.
And also, I know Ingram has hardware and stuff like that, but our integration with Pax8 is ridiculous. If it's cloud-based stuff, Pax8 would definitely be the way to go. And like Brandy mentioned earlier, we're super open to adding additional integrations and things like that. So definitely let us know. But if it's cloud-based stuff, Pax8's the way to go. So what I'm seeing here is that this feature is live now. And so I haven't actually even done anything with this yet. So let's just do this live right now since we've got a couple minutes and the Q&A is empty. I'm just going to, first I'm going to go to ticket preferences really quickly here because I think it changed a little bit of settings here. All right, so this little baby here, warn if there is uncharged time when a ticket is resolved. This was a huge feature request, so let's go ahead and turn that on. This also, I'm going to turn this off because I want this to run properly. So my ticket timer is not set to charge time by default, and I want to warn if there is uncharged time in my ticket now. So I'm going to save those settings, and I'm going to go and just let's just start. I'm going to start with a fresh ticket so that we can see this from start to finish. Okay, and don't say on Facebook that you saw this already because I'm going to feel bad. Like, don't say I showed you this already, but I did wait for it to go live. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to create a ticket. My favorite way to create a ticket is from an asset. I like the quick view modal and create a new ticket. So let's just do this really quick. Let's say we're on a demo, issue type, we're gonna do remote support, and this is a virus. Let's get the ticket created. I'm gonna create the ticket, and then I'm gonna add some time. So I'm gonna add some time here. This is like a very, really quick walkthrough of all the different ways you can add time to a ticket. I'm gonna view the log. I'm gonna add an hour here. As you can see just from here, I haven't charged that time. So these are uncharged time. And then I'm gonna do one more where I'm just gonna do a public note. Oh, that's not how you spell notes. And then I'm gonna just say 60 minutes. I'm not gonna charge it. I'm gonna add a public note here. So let's just do this. So I'm gonna say, let's go ahead and change this status to resolved. And it's going to say, warning, warning, uncharged time is present. So this was definitely on the community track. So you have options here. So you can say, I don't care. I know I'm not going to charge it for this. Let's mark it resolved anyways. Or you can say mark resolved and charge for uncharged time. So what this does, mark resolved and charge for uncharged time here, is now you'll see the status is all charged, and you'll see that in the add or view charges. So now all of those charges, whether you take this individual ticket and make it into an invoice, those are going to pull over, or if you have a reoccurring invoice that are adding any pending ticket charges, now those are going to pull over. So you now have a warning if you have uncharged time on your ticket. So that was pretty exciting. That was fast work, really great UI, and our developers are awesome. What happens if the warning is ignored? I don't know if you can, did it give an option of ignore? Let's do it again. Let's say, I don't know if, I'm going to try this because I don't know if I'm going to change the status back to new, and I'm going to add some more time. It's not charged. And now I'm going to resolve the ticket again. We're going to really try to break this brand new feature. Okay, so mark resolved. Cancel is just going to, I think my guess is it's going to go back to new. So it just canceled everything. It's going to stay at the status it was. It's not going to charge it. So there's really not a way, unless I missed an extra button. Is there a way to, so if I do that, what happens? Yep. Xing out, same as cancel. Cool. Man, our developers thought of everything. I was like, uh-oh. Okay, so then if we do resolved, mark as resolved, it's just going to keep it exactly, it's going to resolve the ticket, but you still have a not charged item here. And it's just going to be uncharged. So it'll still show as like labor if you run a report, but it's not going to ever end up on an invoice if you create an invoice from here or add any pending ticket charges. So sweet. Love it.
Me too.
Beautiful. All right. Quiet. It's quiet today. What are the questions you got for us? When Brian's early, he's chatty. That's okay. We like that. We're all chatty. Let's see. Oh, when do the ticket automations run? Aside from knowing they run once an hour, I don't think that's like on the hour every hour. I don't know if I have a great answer to that.
Yeah, I have another question here. Is it possible to grab a screenshot via scripting? And yes, it is. I'll show you how to do it via the PowerShell module. So if you go over to your scripts and you either import one from the community script library or you build your own, I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. If you guys haven't seen this before, we do talk about it all the time on demos and in previous open office hours as well. But here in the PowerShell module, you do have to include this line here, but you do have the capability to save a screenshot to the desktop, to whatever file you specify. So hopefully that helps answer your question.
You can do so much with the PowerShell module. So much. Open tickets, add time to tickets, screen capture, make it reportable. Lots. You're muted. I'd love to hear those thoughts.
Maybe there's a reason I was muted, because I probably should shut my mouth. But there's really cool stuff also coming to the PowerShell module.
How's that for a tease, Justin? Can you read lips? That wouldn't that be horrible? Like if we were like, oh yeah, you guys, there's this really cool thing. I'm going to use that from now on.
I'm going to tunnel.
I love Fridays. Oh my gosh.
Oh, let's see. Oh, I see. That's funny. Justin wants the inside track so that he knows how to get his quality of life features to the top of the list. Explain how it makes you money. That's how you'll get to the top of the list. It's all about that. It's all about that money. Making more money or saving time will get you to the top of the list. That's the inside baseball talk there. Let's see. Are there questions here?
Andy has a question. Any recommendations on books or resources to learn more about PowerShell scripting? I get scared I might break something. If anyone in this group, because to be transparent, the three of us, we talk about scripting, like we know everything about scripting inside of Syncro, but we don't run scripts on a regular basis, right? Since we aren't MSPs. So if anyone does have a recommendation, we do have a good training module though, and we can drop that video on our scripting training module. I think it's really beneficial for me. I used that when I was trying to learn our scripting engine, and it was really helpful. I know you can do a ton of things though. And I think even, oh, thank you, Tatiana. I think some people were talking about scripting in the Facebook group and getting like having a side, a little group that was going to help with things like that. So, or share scripts. I don't know. That's an awesome question though, because I probably need that book too.
Well, both Tony and Rafi say PowerShell in a month of lunches. At first, when I saw Tony post that, I was like,
it's a joke.
what are we talking about here? But I'm assuming that's a book title. So
Cool.
In a month of lunches.
It must be good. Two people and within a minute of each other. Cool.
You can buy this course at Udemy. We use that. We use that as well. Can they see?
I think they can, but we can also drop it in chat and then it doesn't go away. I'll drop that one that Daryl just mentioned in
Great.
chat.
Awesome. Yes, thank you for doing that. And then ticket automation email body. Ticket automation email body does not support HTML. Just answering that question in there.
Comment here from Justin. He says, I'm just here to ask entertaining questions and add some light and happiness to the day during the quiet moment someone's asking an actual Syncro question. So yeah, we appreciate you, Justin. Welcome.
Let's see. If I were Brave, could I use the API to automate changes to tickets based on invoice status? Probably.
I know. I'm thinking probably.
Because I mean, I'm guessing you like. I think that you could probably add maybe like a ticket comment or something based on Zapier. Like if you hooked up Zapier to your account. I don't know. All I know is our API is pretty awesome, and we just added like a I say just, but it was maybe a couple months ago now. But I like just showing you this because sometimes, I mean, our admin section is everything is so customizable, but we have these API tokens, which is really cool. So we've got like, you can create whatever you want, but if you create it, you can create a new token as well. And some of our more popular integrations that utilize the API heavily, we have them already pre-built, but you can do custom permission sets as well. So just because I know we've brought up the API and how easily accessible it is, as you can see, it's incredibly granular. And I just like to also mention while I'm here, you know, we make this API granular and accessible, but also very secure. As you can see, there's not like a select all here. I'm not sure what integration would need all of these permissions, but it really does, it makes these extensions that you're building far more secure. So this is a really great add of how we've changed and updated our API.
Awesome. Question here from Brian. He says, is blinking out the screen possible during a Syncro live session? Some customers just start using the PC while we're trying to fix something. That is super not helpful. I'll show you two things here. So first things first is if you wanted to, you could have the settings edited where you are showing that you have launched into a remote session. Just make sure you have that enabled. So for example, mine is on by default, remote session has opened, but I'm wondering if they're still kind of moving around and doing what, I wonder if you could just keep showing them. I don't know if that's the best route, but that's one option. Another option would be you could send a broadcast message. That's kind of the second thing my mind went to, is in the assets and RMM section under assets, broadcast message. You can either filter this by customer or separate that endpoint onto its own separate policy, or pull it up on its own saved search, like working on this endpoint right now or something, and then just send them like a pop-up alert right in the front of their screen that shows, hey, I'm working on this. Or maybe initiate a chat session. I mean, there's a lot of built-in tools within Syncro Live that can help to do that, but there isn't one button you can click that would just gray out their entire screen to where they can't do anything while you're in there at this time. I can see though, I can see how that would be helpful.
Awesome. And it looks like there's another link for YouTube. Awesome. Oh, Justin says, looking through the API documentation will show you everything the API can do, but be careful using this page to test API calls. If you give it an API key, it will put those calls against your live database. So just keep that in mind. That's not a sandbox. It's live. I thought that we released a sandbox version, but I could be totally wrong. Awesome. Okay. Well, it is 10 a.m. and another hour has flown by. I very much appreciate everyone that's joined today. We love the friendly comments and conversation. So this just kind of like sets us off on the right track for a wonderful weekend. So thank you all so much for joining us. Happy Friday. Have a fun, safe, and healthy weekend.
Bye.
Bye.